Hello, everyone. This is Stacy Hoffman-Farmer with Mountain Serenity Massage. Today, I am here with Mikhal Prezkuta. She is the owner and CEO of Integrity Wellness Worldwide. She is considered the master of all things nutrition and the glue that holds her business together. She really developed an amazing practice around nutrition. She's created herself as a possibility of unlimited possibility. So she's committed to renewing herself and her clients, bringing them to full vitality and wellness through her nutritional practice and working with people to release things emotionally and physically as they go. So Mikhal, I am truly honored to have you with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, good. It's nice to have you. So Mikhal, your practice is very different from some of the other things that have been in this series. You're working with nutrition to work through some of the things that are happening both physically and emotionally. So I wanted to learn more about how you developed your practice. How did you get into this?
Well, through my own journey, right? A healer heals thyself first. So I had symptoms ever since I was little that I just thought were normal. I would feel tired, or I'd have digestive issues, or, I felt like I was more tubby than other kids. Like I wasn't fat, but I didn't feel great about myself. And, I had low motivation. And then, through teenage years, I had hormone issues, and it just these things just kind of added up until I hit my health crisis. And so I spent about a year and a half bedridden because my organs were shutting down. I was in chronic pain, like my joints wouldn't stay in place, which is kind of a weird thing. Doctors don't know what to do with that. And so it was a long journey of going to a lot of different practitioners, conventional, alternative, holistic, and trying to look at what my root cause was and how to heal myself. And I found, nutrition was a huge piece of it. Functional medicine was a great, way to approach healing and finding my root answers. And I can't separate the emotional healing that I did. I saw immediate physical changes when I started healing my heart. From some childhood things. So that was my, when I found that and I got hope in my life back, physically, mentally, emotionally, my whole perspective changed on how I saw the world and how I saw myself. I was like, that's what I want to give the world, because people don't have to suffer. And so, yeah, that was my spark.
Wow, that's incredible. I think a lot of people have healed based on personal experiences. So a lot of people that are sharing what they're doing are dealing with some pretty incredible things that happened to them first, and then being able to share it with the rest of the world. So I love the message that you started healing emotionally at the same time that you realized that it was very much linked with how you were experiencing what you were going through. So how does that translate into your clients? Do you see a lot of emotional stuff with your clients as well that's sort of a turning point in their own health?
Absolutely. The more I've started integrating the emotional piece with absolutely everything we do, even with people who come in for physical concerns, and looking deeper into the science of why, because I knew my healing helped my body, but I couldn't necessarily explain it. It sounds like a weird concept. But there's been a ton of research on this, where scientists have actually discovered that emotions are real proteins in the body. And they act very much like hormones. They carry information. So whatever information is being carried in the body, it's just like estrogen, that makes women womanly,
Exactly.
It's literally, fear or depression or anxiety or doubt or guilt, all of those negative emotions, they have a physical structure to them, and they actually carry information, and they signal cells to respond in certain ways. And negative emotions can cause inflammation, pain. They can cause organs to not function like they should. You do not sleep as well as you could. I mean, whatever area of the brain was impacted by that event and those emotions, the brain governs parts of your body. And so that's the links. So we start emotional healing with every one of our clients. And we talk to them about releasing those stored emotions. And then people who want to, we go a little bit deeper, and we work with healing memories and getting to the root beliefs about ourselves that generate those emotions. So what we find, I love my favorite topic. So the beliefs in your subconscious part of your brain, there's a file for them in your library in your brain. just like there's a file for I'm human, or I'm a female, or I'm, this tall, or, I have a mouth, all of those things that we believe about ourselves. There's a file in there for whether I'm lovable or not, or worthy, or acceptable, or successful, or capable, or good enough. And so there's a physical file that says, it's like a tape recording, where those beliefs are stored. And those beliefs in that physical part of your brain, they are what trigger those emotions and thought processes. And so if we get to that belief, it'll alter what emotions our body pumps out and how we see and respond to events in our lives. And so a lot of people notice, there's a lot of trauma that people go through these days with broken families, abuse. I mean, gosh, even like the school system, getting picked on. There's just a lot there that we go through. And so people who actually alter their beliefs about themselves and release the emotions related to that event, they see the event differently. There's it's complete. There's no sting. It didn't mean all those things they made it mean about themselves, that I can't do it, or I'm not good enough, or I'm just hurt, or I'm broken. And it's awesome, because if you can alter how the past occurs to you, and how the present occurs to you, and how the future occurs to you, you have total new openings for actions that you can take and what you want to create.
Oh, that's really incredible. I mean, dealing with very specifically right there, how the mind is impacting the experience, what the body is doing, and the experience in life. I think that's pretty incredible. I know we've seen throughout the series, actually, that the mind-body-spirit connection is real. It's really out there. And getting such profound amounts of healing from your clients based on them dealing with a memory. I mean, that's pretty incredible. Going back all the way into the subconscious mind and dealing with a memory to impact some kind of health issue that's going on in the body. Wow.
Yeah, and it's been amazing. I mean, pain. I've had chronic headaches that stopped with emotional release, or I'm surprised still to this day by some of the things that people say. I've had chronic digestive issues all my life, and after that one session with you, I haven't had any. It's it doesn't, maybe it's not that strong of a connection for everybody. Like food really is, a big piece of things, but it's amazing how it impacts your digestive system and immune system and nervous system. It's the mind-body connection it's very physical. And I think when people can understand, all of us who see that are talking about voodoo concepts. There's really physiology to it. And I love that. I love that science piece.
Yeah, I think that's great to bring the science into it. I think people forget when we get into the spirit space, which a lot of our healers in this series have done. They do a lot of the energetic spiritual healing by looking at things in the body. And you're taking a little bit more of a scientific approach by approaching what's happening in the body and then tracking it back into that space. So what are you thinking about? What are you doing? What happened to you? Did you have a traumatic experience that's maybe carrying through? And then tracking it through more of a scientific approach with nutrition. I think that's incredible. Now, over time, it sounds like you've developed your technique based on what was going on with you first. And then you've been sharing that with clients, which is fantastic. So how have your clients progressed through this? I'm sure your technique's developed a little bit more over time as you work with people. Has anything really changed for you, or?
I can definitely say it's been developed here and there. And for me, it's been a discovery process of me finding those answers of why, right? I'm so curious. Ever since I was little, I would ask my mom, what's that? And she'd say, it's a grapefruit. And I said, no, what is it? Wanting to know the deeper, how does this work? And so for me, it was one piece at a time, from the emotional release to wait, where do emotions come from? Okay, well, where are those stored, and how can you access that and, alter the brain? And so I've developed this process over time, but really the key pieces are the same. And it's awesome because, I've seen everything from, I don't know, my childhood was great, and we still were able to find those root negative beliefs and switch them, and they may have come from, I broke my grandmother's vase and she yelled at me and I'm unlovable. And we've also worked with like people with PTSD, like first responders. I've worked with some of the Broncos. I've worked with, you know, people who came out of cults that had very horrible things done to them. But the process is the same. I've worked with people who have been raped. I've worked with people who had family members brutally murdered. And you know, so it's like, no matter what the severity is, I've found that the same process, like the possibilities are actually the same for people, because, you know, it's not the event that really traumatized them. It was how the brain processed the event and how it generated that belief and that story and those emotions and those thoughts and that way of being that we have in response to it. And it's all automatic. You can't really see outside of that automatic process that happens for us. And those beliefs are usually set by age 6. And when it's in the subconscious, we can't just access that consciously. We've got to activate the physical brain in a very specific way to get, you know, to integrate new information. So it's just like, you know, when you buy a new car, you see the car everywhere, you know, and you never realized how many people owned the same type of car. That's the same with our beliefs. If it's not our car, we can't see it in our world. But as soon as we, you know, create a new belief system, we actually start seeing it everywhere, and we gather evidence that that's true, that I am lovable. And, you know, a lot of us, when we get compliments, you know, we're like, thanks, but, you know.
Yeah, even if it's in your head, it's the but, that's not, yeah.
Thanks, but if you only knew me, or thanks, but wait until I disappoint you, you know. And so when we really have that we're lovable, or those positive beliefs about ourselves, we are able to interact in the world in a way that we can fully receive that. And it transforms our marriages and our jobs and our confidence and our performance. So the process has developed a little bit, but really it's still those fundamental pieces of how to basically create a new pathway in the brain, new thoughts and new emotions, so that we can actually see a new world for ourselves.
Wow, that's really great. I like the thought that we're coming back to love. I know for the people watching, we've seen this a lot in this series, that it comes back to love. That the negative responses that are occurring, or perceived negative, so an emotion that's not perceived as happy, are coming back to that root of, what if nobody loves me? And I think that's really incredible that, I mean, the whole series has come back to that love is really what's going on. So when your body is manifesting these crazy things and you can't figure out why, that it could be a belief pattern, especially, and you said back to 6 years old, that between like birth and 6 years old, we're getting these patterns. That's crazy to think about. That's something that happened when you were like 2 years old is affecting your marriage at 40.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. I tease people, you know, I say, okay, I'm going to make up two examples for you to really get. So I'll have you try this on. Okay. You know, if I say, you know, I hate your green hair. Lime green is just a disgusting color. I don't know why you would choose that for your hair. What's your experience of that?
Well, gosh, when I'm thinking about that, it's like, well, what does your opinion matter? Why do you care about my hair? You know, and
I don't have green hair.
The second part is, what if
and you don't have green hair. You know, it doesn't hit you in the same, it doesn't really apply. It's just, I don't know, some crazy lady thinks I have green hair and it's brown, you know, it doesn't hit, it doesn't sink in. And so that's, if something isn't true within our belief system, it'll just roll off kind of like, what a funny little opinion. It doesn't apply. But if we make up something totally made up, you know, I don't know that you're really capable or really skilled at putting this whole series out. I'm just kind of doubtful about that. Can you feel how there's some impact for you?
Yeah, that one actually went right into the heart, like, oh no, it's not going to be good. Yeah, so
and
that it's personal.
Yes, and you knew it was made up.
Right.
And that's every single person that comes in, we play with that so that they can see what their brain is actually letting in as true is not their truth.
Oh.
And so, you know,
kind of that, like a selective perception of what's coming at you.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's not something we're consciously in control of, but it's something we can alter. Because I love what you said. If we can actually receive, I am lovable and fully acceptable for who I am, no matter what. Oh my gosh,
Wow.
I don't even, a million possibilities show up.
Yeah, I get all tingly when you say it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I love that. That is such a powerful message for the people, especially watching. I mean, I think a lot of us, if not all of us, at the root of our experience are really just out there looking to be loved and accepted for who we really are, right? And as you grow up and your mind takes over things, you have all these thoughts and opinions that happen that you don't really know how it's defining you until something bad happens, something you perceive as negative.
Yep.
And then you know that there's a problem, but we don't really know where it starts. So that's pretty amazing. And I love that you can scientifically see like the pathway in the brain forming, that you can test it and see how it's changing.
Yes. Wow. It's awesome. Yep. And it takes about an hour. And then when you get skilled at it, it takes about 20 minutes for your whole life.
Wow. So you can just, I really like that you did some scale up with who you work with. And then, you know, it comes back to that message of the experience was incredibly traumatic, and everyone has their own level of that experience. What it was is not the same for everybody, but the response to the experience is where the problem is. So even on a scale of 1 to 100, someone's at 100 and someone is at 1, they can have the same emotional response that's developing a problem.
Yes.
Wow. And in just an hour,
I know.
That relief. That's incredible. That's so fast.
Yeah. And even like, you know, some people, they're so precious. The elderly, you know, they're like, oh, well, honey, I've got a lot of memories. You know, we got a lot to work through, and they just think it'll take forever. And, you know, and they sort through a life's full of evidence that they're not good enough, you know, in an hour, and they really get their whole life from it. And I just love seeing the freedom that comes from that.
Wow, that is a really profound and fundamental change. So I hope for some of the people watching, if you're resonating with that, I know we've seen before from a couple people that childhood experience is so key to what's happening in your life. So if you're manifesting, you know, pain in your back, or, you know, you're having trouble walking, or you have an incredibly traumatic disease, that it could track back to something that happened to you before you were 6 years old. And that your work can help release that.
Absolutely. It actually changes genetics, how genetics are expressed. I should say epigenetics.
Epigenetics? I don't know the difference between genetics.
You can turn on or off genes for like cancer or genes for disease or illness through emotional healing. It actually changes the expression of your genes, which is
wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in my personal experience, to me, cancer is one of the most traumatic ways that someone can manifest a problem that's being ignored. I have a friend that uses she describes it as the feather truck, or the feather rock truck analogy. So if you're not paying attention and something is going wrong, could it sort of tickle you as a feather, like this is wrong, and things happen, like you get a cold, let's say. And then if you don't pay attention and fix whatever's happening, you get hit with a rock, so something a little bigger happens. You know, all of a sudden, you broke your leg, maybe, and you can't do something. And if you don't pay attention to that, something really bad happens. So you get hit with the truck, which for a lot of people could be something as severe as cancer. And that's what for. And I think that's pretty incredible that at the root of it, we're looking at the emotional connection to something that's manifesting physically. So changing your genetic code, I mean, just wrapping my head around that, thinking I can really affect my actual physical cells, just healing an emotional response.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing how even I, who am trying to open my eyes to this stuff, internally it's like, no, that's too easy.
Yep, I know. I totally know. Yep.
Wow. So I'm sure you see that a lot with your clients as well too, that people think it's just too easy, right? And then you get to walk them through this process and they find out how easy it is.
Yep. And the brain, right, in those beliefs is like, I'm not possible. I can't have what I want. It's so funny how entrenched it is. But yeah, once they really start getting and living in the possibilities, they're like, you were right. You know, like I did get my marriage that was on the brink of divorce back in 2 weeks. Like that's crazy to say, you know, but it's what happens when you rewire your brain to really be supporting you and what you're up to in life.
Wow. So it sounds like we're coming back to that foundation of taking control of what's happening to you, that you're the creator of what your experience is.
Exactly.
And you're helping your clients to recognize that and rewire that experience into something they want.
Yes, absolutely.
What amazing life-changing work. For the people out there that are watching, that are thinking about this, Mikhal has been doing this for a long time. So with herself as well as with her clients. So, it's really great to see in just an hour how fundamentally someone's life can change. So if you're struggling with some kind of illness or problem, that victim mentality where we think it's happening to us is not really true. We're creating it out of what we've learned.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone does it. So
everyone does it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And we don't have to. Yep.
Right. Oh, that's so great. Just think about how empowering that thought would be. And I'm still wrapping my head around it, right? It's so easy to just change your life by changing what you're thinking about day to day. How incredible. What an amazing gift to be able to share with people.
Yep. 100% power.
100%. See, so just think about it too, even if you're a little bit older and you think, oh yeah, I have too much life experience to change now. Obviously, that's not the case, since Mikhal has been able to work through this with some of her older clients. Mm-hmm. And just think about, how great your life would be if you didn't manifest disease anymore, because you knew exactly what was happening when it was happening.
Yeah.
You help people look through their triggers as well to find out what's triggering the response?
Absolutely. Yep. And it always goes, the cool part about it is, it's like, but okay, something happened and I don't know if you can help me with this, But it always goes to that root belief. So we do have a process where we help people sort out, what is actually happening in their lives as distinct versus what is our experience and our made up stuff and our emotions and our thoughts and feelings about it all. And, the non-factual things. And, through sorting that out, we always boil it down to that root core belief about ourselves. And so if something triggers me today or something horrific happens to me today, and I feel stuck or trapped or, swallowed in stress, like we all have that, stuff shows up all the time. I know that my response is coming from a deeper belief about myself. And so I find that, and it could be I'm capable. And that I really just think I can't handle anything that comes my way, or that I am a victim and I'm not in control of my life. And so when I alter that belief, the immediate trigger or thing that happened, it changes how it occurs. Literally, like my hand is here in front of my face, like it alters how it occurs in a way that's real for us.
Wow. So the connection that you can see physically is so incredible. I know some people out there are not very energetically inclined, so it's hard to think about if I think something, it's going to happen. And I love that you're integrating the science into it. You can really see it happening. This stuff is real. I've experienced it, and Mikhal, you have. So we want everyone out there to be able to experience the reality of changing what you think and how you feel about things, to stop the things that are happening in your life that you don't want and get back where you should be.
Yes.
Wow. Mikhal, wow, your work is incredible. I can't thank you enough for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me and for giving a voice for what is possible. I love how you shared and the possibility of possibilities, because people really don't see that it is possible and the power is in their hand. And so to be able to get that out to the world touches me very deeply, very deeply.
I absolutely agree. I think everyone has the ability to heal themselves, and I want everyone to be able to do it. So
yes,
that's why this series came about. So for folks out there that are really resonating with Mikhal's work, her website is integritywellnessworldwide.com, and you can read all about her and her incredible staff that help her with these issues with these clients. She is, happily enough for me, out here in Colorado. So anyone that's in Colorado, definitely check it out, and check out online if you're not in this area. But her work is incredible. It's such a gift. So make sure you take a good look at it. And we will definitely be watching, Mikhal, for more of your work and looking forward to more that you're doing to help your clients.
Thank you so much. You as well.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.